So now that we have those agents, let's say we got them talking to each other, how do we know that the handoff is successful? What were they saying to each other? And did they call each other unnecessarily or did they do it well? So
Yeah,
we hear a lot about open telemetry or OTel for short, the
sure.
ability to sort of see and sort of monitor what these folks are doing. Tell us a little bit about that standard. Have you seen this sort of help enterprises as they're trying to stand up these solutions? Are there other ways to think about observability? How do you see it?
Yeah, I was kind of laughing because I have a customer. I have actually a lot of customers that are into open standards and use
Mhm,
both first party AWS, but many use third party observability platforms. And OTel
mhm,
is very important. Having open standards is very important to them. And it's nice to see Strands agents, which is AWS's open source framework, but many of the other frameworks have adopted the open standards, which I think is great. And it shows the importance of those open standards for that. I think what's interesting, and I find myself and maybe other folks on the webinar today too, is real time logging is more important. To your point, I built an
mhm,
agentic system, single agent, multi agent. I have multiple tools, and I get to an answer. But how did I get to that answer? Did it?
mhm,
I would expect it to maybe make 2 or 3 calls, but it made 15. Or I had a funny use case. I was developing a system, and I got an answer back, and it was only later that I realized actually that was the LLM answering directly. The
mhm.
agent had not actually used any of the tools to go out to the web and find the answer to the knowledge base. It tried to answer the question without the tools. And had I not used the observability tools that were available and looked through the logs, I probably wouldn't have realized that. So I think that real-time logging, especially during the testing and the development phase, is critical, not only to make sure it's working, but how is it working? Is it even though it's non-deterministic to some degree, it's still deterministic in that you would expect it to call certain tools, maybe in a certain order, or if it's calling too many tools, right? If it's going a minute or 2 minutes, you need to get that time down. How can you do that? So I think observability is critically important in agentic systems.